Hey, up next on the MARR Army Rock Show, a familiar guest of the Rock Show, we've got Allison from Tennessee band Roses Unread with us. Their Rapture EP is due out on August 23rd. You can pre-order it right now. Allison, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, hey, I mentioned Rapture's coming out on the 23rd, but the single Rapture's out right now. So, tell me a little bit about that tune, especially, let's start with the lyrics. Tell me a little bit lyrically what that tune's about.
Lyrically, I guess when I wrote it, I was in a really bad place at the time, and just, I didn't think I was going to be able to come out of it. It was just like a dark place for me, and and I did come out of that darkness I was in, but it took me the process, I guess, of this whole EP to finally get it all out of my system, I guess, because it was just a really bad time. We had a lot of losses in the band, members would losing family members, losing people close to us, kind of people giving up on us. It was just like the same story over and over and over again, and just in the same sense, beating yourself up over it. So it's kind of like me having a personal war battle against myself, I guess, and that's what kind of led to saying, okay, we think this is, good enough for the single, now we need to make, a music video, and playing out those lyrics led us to, the music video, except we even kind of extended it even further from what it was about to me personally.
So, the music video, I was watching it today a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the making of that video and what the experience was like.
Well, I actually filmed it in our hometown, Brownsville, and it's a small town. There's really nothing here. Pretty much every video we've done, we've pretty much done it in Brownsville some way or another. You would think, how do you find all these locations, because the town is so small, but we just keep ending up finding them. I don't know how we do it, but we found this really, really abandoned old warehouse, and it was actually right by this burger joint that's been there my whole life, and I had no idea. And I hit up one of the ladies that books us, on the town square thing every fall, and I was like, hey, do you have any warehouses that are old and abandoned nobody's using we could shoot a video in? And the town's really helpful to the band, because we help them when time rolls around. And they're like, yeah, we have this one place, it's right by the burger joint or whatever, and it ended up working great. We just needed some kind of thing that looked kind of end of the world scene, and the warehouse looked perfect. And then we were like, okay, so where are we going to have this location where the whole video starts? Because if you put two and two together, the song's called Rapture, well, the world's ending in this video. Or or you could say my world's ending, however you want to look at it, whatever perspective you're taking. But we used a location in town called ZZ's. It's a restaurant we eat at all the time. And we asked the owner, can we have our video in here? And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And he was the first person to actually disappear. It was kind of neat, because he had no idea he was going to be in the video. It was we're going to need you to pretend you know how to act for about 5 minutes. And then through the video, it's after everybody disappears, I'm the only one left, and I'm trying to figure out what's happened and where I go from that certain point where I'm at, because I'm the only one there. And then when I leave the restaurant, I see this dark figure, and I start following it. Turns out it takes me to the warehouse, and it turns out it's actually my darker self. And then at the end, I get raptured off, and it's kind of it's kind of open for interpretation, however you want to take it. But that's kind of the song, the video in a nutshell.
Well, nicely done on the video. And by the way, I'll mention to folks that are curious, there is a making of the video documentary you guys have out there on YouTube as well. So folks might want to check that out. Hey, so let's talk about the new EP itself. I know it's not out till August 23rd, but tell us a little bit about where you recorded this and who you used for a producer. Was it self-produced, or how did this work out for you?
Yeah, the last EP we recorded at our house, actually. And then Dave Cowell, which he's been with us for a long time, he actually took it in and mixed it, gave it a little love, put a little production on it, and, we sent it off for mastering. But this time around, we wrote everything at our house. Sorry, my dog's barking. Every time I do an interview, he starts barking.
We're pet friendly here. It's all good.
Yeah, it's something about it. He's like, I know she's talking to somebody. I'm going to start yapping. It's insane. But anyway, Yes, the production. Well, so this one, we actually did at Dave. So we recorded everything with Dave, wrote everything at the house. We took what we wrote, and we're like, hey, we want to make these better. Like, we want you to have like the fifth ear. What do you think? And like, he came in and did his thing, and I'd make these changes. This would sound good here. This is what I think. You can take it or leave it, but that kind of thing. And he just really awesome to work with. He gets you. He's like, he pushes you to your next level. Like, when you think you can't do something, like, he's like, you're gonna do it, and you can. And you're like, no, I really can't. He's like, yeah. And then I was like hitting notes. Before I knew it, I was hitting notes that I was like, I'm hitting these notes. I was like, maybe, okay, you were right, Dave. He's just that kind of person. And so I was really glad we went that route this time, actually going to somebody and actually, having that fifth ear with us in the room as we, laid it all out. And then he's going to mix it, and then we're doing the same people that mastered the last one. The guy his name's Blackwood. Yeah, his last name is Blackwood. I cannot think of his first name, but yeah, he did the last like three mastering them. So we're already writing new music already. So it's crazy.
So give us a little peek behind the curtain at the Rapture EP stylistically. Once in a while you get a little twist and turn in your style. What can we expect on the rest of the EP? Something different from you guys, or down the same road, or?
I feel we kind of went on some of the songs a little more old school, like more like a Korn, Deftones kind of vibe on them. I mean, it's still got that new synth that we've been adding to our music, but it's a little more. I feel like a little old school. But then we've got like a really, really just pop song, and it's like the first time we've done a ballad, so you'll get to hear a ballad too.
So, hey, you guys have been regular guests on the show, and I know there's been a couple twists and turns in the band. Is the lineup the same, or do you have some lineup changes to talk about?
Well, my husband and I, John, he and I formed the band in 2007, and then we went through a ton of changes up until, I guess, around 2000, I want to say 14, 15, 16, around in there. That's when we got Jed. So we went through a bunch of bass players. Jed was on the Vultures EP, so like he wasn't on Silver Lining, the one before that. So I think it was like 2017. I want to say that was Vultures.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yep.
So he got in the band about 2016, like right after we released Silver Lining. And then shortly after that, we got Caleb in the band. I don't know if you remember me talking about him, but he was our previous drummer. And he had to leave because he had a baby on the way. He was driving like 3 hours to practice back and forth. Like, he lived in Houston, Mississippi, which is a haul, coming to Brownsville, Tennessee. And he did it for, 3 years-ish. It was just like, it was like nothing. And then finally caught up to him, and he was like, I can't do this anymore. And we're like, dude, I was like, we were surprised you lasted this long, because, that's a lot of driving. And then you had like shows in there, so it was just a lot more. And then we were like, what are we gonna do? We've got all these new songs. This is before we recorded. We got all these new songs. Now we've lost our drummer. What are we gonna do? We just started brainstorming, thinking, and we were like, hey, there's this band we used to play with called Persevere. I was like, they're not doing anything anymore. The guitar player, he's in another band. The singer, he's doing like sports podcasts, and he's got a kid now. He's like super busy. And then like the bass player, he's playing with the guitar player. So it's like, they're not coming back at all. So we're like, hey, let's holler at, Persevere's drummer, which his name's Rocky as well.
Yeah, nice.
And he was like, yeah, I'll come try it out and see what I think. And if we jive, if we mesh well, we'll try it out. It's no hurt trying. He came out and it just fit like perfectly. Like, he'd had the songs a few days in advance, and he'd been kind of jamming, putting his own little flavor to them. And he came out, and it just worked. It was like kind of like the missing piece we needed. And and what's funny is he's from Arkansas. My husband's from Arkansas. They were actually, even before we played bands with Persevere, they were like high school buddies.
Oh, wow.
It's really weird. And that's like, now we're all together. And Jed actually came from a band we used to play with too. He was in a band called Shive. And when they split up, Jed came and played with us after we lost our bass player. So I feel like sometimes we're like this super group, because, my husband came from a band that, like they played a lot. But that's how I met him, through another band. So we all come from different backgrounds, different bands. It's kind of neat.
Now, you got a few live shows coming up, including a CD release show. So what shows would you like to talk about that you have coming up, if any?
Well, we got the CD release show. It's at the Naked Turtle. Jackson, Tennessee has like this fetish with like turtles. there was the Naked Turtle. A long time ago, there was a place called the Fertile Turtle, and it was actually a really cool place. It got shut down, and like that's where all the bands would play. Everybody would go to hang and stuff, and it got shut down. And then the same owners opening up another place, and it was called the Emporium, and we played there a lot. And then it got shut down, and now we play the Naked Turtle, and that's the CD release party in Jackson. That's the 24th. And then after that, I would have to look at the calendar, like for real, because I have no sense with dates. It's like everything's in my planner.
Yeah, it's all good.
You probably have it in front of you right now, and you could probably tell me.
It's all good. But we do. Well, what you can do is, I know your what do you call it? Your website just got a facelift, so people probably can go over to your brand new website, right? And check it out over there.
Yes, it did. That's what I'm telling everybody. I'm like, the website got like a new look, and we redid it to make it more easy, because like the last website was so complicated, it was awful, and like we all hated it, and we finally got this new one, and it actually does really good, and I was like, oh, this is nice, this is easy to work. So it's got like all the shows, it's got all the Instagram pictures, links you to all the music videos, the merch, everything. That's rosesunreadofficial.com.
That's awesome. So we're going to direct folks to rosesunreadofficial.com. Allison from Roses Unread, once again, they're from Tennessee. The Rapture EP is due out on August 23rd. You can pre-order that on iTunes right now, and you can, I think, Allison, also pick it up on the website, right?
Yes.
And once again, that was Roses Unread Official, correct?
Yep, rosesunreadofficial.com. Yep.
Hey, Allison, thanks so much for being back on the Marmy Rock Show. You're always welcome here, and good luck with the release of Rapture on August 23rd.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.